All right, everybody, welcome back to the OC Gridiron Show for week one. Back here with Steve Fryer. And Steve, we were almost perfect last week in our week
You were
zero
perfect.
picks.
You were
I'm
perfect.
I'm going with the team effort here. The two of us were combined. Went about I was 6-0, you were 5-1. That's a pretty good record. But week zero is going to really challenge us because there's some really good games, especially on Thursday night. And that's where I'd
Mhm.
like to pick with our predictions.
Yep.
And we're to start with our predictions, rather. And I want to start with an orange battle, a couple local teams with a pretty good rivalry. Villa Park against Orange. This game's going to be Thursday at El Medina High School. I believe you are covering it for OCVarsity and the Register. When
Yep.
you arrive there at beautiful Fred Kelly, who are you going to pick to win?
Villa Park. I think that they just have more depth all over the field than Orange does at this time. Really good running back battle in this puppy, Danny. We
Yes.
got Ardwan Morris of Orange and Carter Christie of Villa Park. Villa Park's also had a week off because they played in Hawaii 2 weeks ago. That might help them out in terms of preparation and rest. So, going to go with the Spartans. Coach Dusan Ansich says really likes his team this year, and he doesn't say that unless he likes his group. Pedroza, Coach Robert Pedroza, Orange likes his group too. But I'm going with the Spartans, bud. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm also picking Villa Park. Carter Christie in that
Yeah.
matchup. It's going to be a very good running back matchup. Carter Christie had a very good track season. I don't know if you noticed that
Yep.
in the spring for Villa Park, and Morris is committed to Sacramento State. That's a really good get for that 1AA program. But in Morris, you saw what he did against Pacifica
Mhm.
last week, ran for almost 300 yards. He's the county leading rusher after 1 week. All right. So also on Thursday, Steve, another good one. This game I'm going to be taking on Tesoro, coming off the victory last week against Murrieta Mesa on the road, taking on Newport Harbor. I like that these two teams are playing, a little South Coast League, Sunset League clash. That works in most sports. I think it works in football pretty well. So I like this matchup that these teams are playing. And Newport Harbor's coming off a loss. I was a little surprised they lost a close one to St. Paul last week. 2-point game, 24-22 on the road. Sailors played both their quarterbacks. Who do you got in this one?
Newport Harbor, and I don't put a lot into that St. Paul loss. That's all. The Pit remains a tough place to go play. New coach over there at St. Paul, Mike Machete. He's going to get that thing going. He's an interesting guy. Probably the right, good fit for St. Paul over there too. But I like Newport in this game. I just think overall, a very talented group. Tesoro beat, getting their win over Murrieta Mesa. That's nothing to sneeze at, man, because 27-7, it's good football out there in the Murrieta Valley, Murrieta Mesa areas out there. But I go with Newport, Dan.
Yeah, I'm going with Newport as well. I think they gotta have to unlock that passing game. They got some really talented wide receivers. They got some talented quarterbacks. Didn't get it going a lot last week against St. Paul. So I'm looking for the Sailors to bounce back at home. But we'll see what Tesoro brings to the table in that one. So let's go to the Friday schedule, Mr. Fryer. A lot of good games on Friday here. Let me call up the docket. I want to start with the Trinity League, and I think this is a really interesting game. You saw what Servite did in its first game last week under new coach Chris Reinhardt. Blowout victory, 57-0 against kind of a lesser foe. That's not the case this week. They're home. Friars are home again. Rancho Cucamonga, that had a very impressive opener last week against Murrieta Valley,
Yes.
And interesting enough for Servite, they played last week, scored all those points without Quade Carr. Didn't play injury precaution, as Chris Reinhardt said for Friars. But what do you think about this game? Who's your pick? Servite Rancho Cucamonga.
Getting that back return to them brings a lot of speed to the Servite arsenal. But on the other side, Rancho Cucamonga's got a ton of speed, especially on defense, from what my understanding is. So, really like the way that Servite opened up. That's pretty good. It's good for the morale and everything that you want. But I think Rancho Cucamonga is going to win. Might be a close game, but I got Rancho winning that game. Rancho Cucamonga on top.
Okay. I am also picking Rancho Cucamonga. I think those Servite, they already matched their win total of all last year with the one victory in the season opener. My buddy Scott Barajas on the Trinity League Football podcast, shameless plug right there. He picked Servite to pull the upset, Steve, in this one.
Good.
So that one did surprise me. I got a feeling we'll see what if Quade Card comes back. That's going to be important for Servite.
Yep.
Did a lot of positive things last week. Here's a game that I'm going to be out on Friday. Really looking forward to it. Cypress. We know what kind of role they've been in the Empire League. Coach Feldman, of course they have one of the best QBs in the county in Aiden Houston, senior dual threat. They had a shutout win against La Mirada last week. Now they're taking on Corona del Mar. That's going to be at Newport Harbor on Friday night. Corona del Mar's got Caleb Ennett, Boise State committed quarterback. So a great quarterback matchup. I see two of the top 10 quarterbacks in Orange County. I also view these guys, both these teams, as top 10 teams in Orange County. I think it's a great game. Coach Heddick got his first win. Speaking of, first year coaches last week, Corona del Mar on the road to beat Downey, one of the kind of under the radar performances last week. Really good job against Downey. Who do you got in this one? This is a great game.
Corona del Mar impressed me with beating Downey. As good as Downey was last year. Remember Downey beat Cypress pretty good last year in a CF championship game. So I'm going with CDM in this one. I think Caleb Annette is really good. Coach Heddick, it's just, they didn't lose anything at all with that coaching change over there. He's been in the program so long under Dan O'Shea, now the head coach at St. Margaret's. So, and I like Aiden Houston. I like the Centurions. But I think CDM at home wins this game. Cypress didn't practice yesterday, Monday, because of the tropical storm aftermath. Is that a difference? Could be, right? You want to prepare. So I go with CDM in this game. Whether that practice makes a difference or not, maybe it does, but I like the Sea Kings, Dan.
All right. I'm going with Cypress on this one, where I think Coach Feldman has a way of using all the ammunition he can possibly get. You just picked against him, and how about he'll use the practice situation to his advantage to motivate his players. And I think a lot of times these teams, they work so hard year round. I don't think one day early in the season is going to hurt them for a non-league game. But of course the coaches, they want to have everything the way they want it. But that's not always possible all the time. So now final game of Friday, which is a dandy you're going to be at. Hey, it's one of the best rivalries in Orange County. It's going to be Tustin-Foothill. Both these teams look really good in their openers. Foothill goes out all the way up to Santa Barbara on Saturday and beats Bishop Diego with a goal line stand on the last play of the game, third and goal at the 1 yard line. What a victory there. And then I was really surprised with how I wasn't surprised that Tustin won at El Toro last week, but the score definitely caught me off guard. I thought that El Toro was going to be in that game more than they were. And I think there was, but Tustin made plays and here they are playing really well. And this should be a really good game. I believe Foothill is the home team, if it matters, at Tustin High School. And I think they've won the last couple games in this rivalry, and it's a storied rivalry. And I think it's about 33 to 25 in favor of Foothill, maybe throw in a couple ties. But who do you pick in this one, Steve?
Tough one. This is a tough one. And by the way, when you talk about, the game being at both teams' home site, it does matter when you're figuring out where you're going to sit. You don't want to sit on the wrong side of that game. But, Tustin was, my report on Tustin was super fast, looked great in that game, a lot of speed.
Yeah.
I think Foothill's got the defensive game plan going that may be able to counter that, fill in the gaps, don't make mistakes, don't over pursue. I think Foothills will play that sort of game and get the W against Tustin. Again, a coin flip game. Coach Lopez at Tustin really likes his group. He's very excited about him. Skill all over the place. But I'm going Foothill.
Right. I'm also going with the Knights. So they lead the series all time, 33 to 25, and 2 ties are in there. But I really like the way Nicholas Mayala Maali is playing at quarterback. He
Oh yeah.
really played well against Bishop Diego, threw 3 touchdowns, threw for about 275 yards, and the new dimension for the senior, who's 6'6". So check him out, Steve, on and I know you're familiar with him, on Friday.
Yes.
But he also ran for 71 yards, including a 55-yard TD. That's a new dimension for Mayala. So Mayali. So should be a really good game. I think both teams are playing well, and let's put you on this the spot, Mr. Fryer. Where do you rank this Foothill Tustin as for in terms of rivalries you like in OC football? I mean, you're at this game, you're going to probably have some nostalgia. You'll think about, how much you like this rivalry, which I do. I very much like as well.
I like the rivalry, Dan, more than I like the press box, which is the size of a Ford Expedition SUV. But I love the rivalry. I love all rivalry games. They're all great. My goodness. San Clemente Mission is a pretty good one. Servite, when they're good, Servite modern day is really good. Now it's modern day Bosco. As far as the kids think, people my age, it's still modern day Servite. So that's right up there. Edison Fountain Valley was great for a while. Then Edison has just like jumped all over the place, and Fountain Valley has had a lot of good ones. Los El Esperanza back in the 90s was really fun. That was pretty solid. Maybe Los Al Edison's pretty good. Newport Harbor, Corona del Mar still nailed. They're both really good again. Yeah. So there's some good ones out there. There's still some. Santa Ana, Anaheim going way back was a nasty one. I think if La Habra wasn't winning so much, there might be some good ones out in that area too. Garden Grove. I don't know they got a rivalry out there anymore. Maybe not. But yeah, this is one of the best ones. Foothill Tustin. Love the fact they play each other in a non-league game every year, even though they haven't been in the same league in I don't know how long. But it's a good one. It's a beauty. I'm looking forward to being there. Get there early, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I look forward. I have to get there early to make sure I get that little place, in the side there, with my can of Raid.
Well, I'm sure you'll get accommodated there, and enjoy that game. I think you rattled off all the good ones. I think the only one you didn't mention was maybe El Dorado. Valencia is not bad as well. Some of those ones in Irvine are pretty good too. They play for their city titles, and but I'm glad yeah, exactly. And with Orange County moving to the releaguing situation with the competitive equity next year, I hope a lot of these rivalries continue, including Foothill Tustin.
Yes, sir. I think they will. It's good stuff.
All right. Well, Steve, hey, thanks for jumping on. Thanks for the picks, and we'll see everybody at the games.